After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Matt, you are blinking like it's something of a show.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Northeast mods with Northeast drivers simply belong in the Northeast United States, and that's precisely what the BRP iRacing series intends to do with their next 2 weeks. Fresh out of Central Florida's swamps, we go back north to Lernerville Speedway, a home race for some, a treacherous race for all at the mixing bowl with no walls. Welcome, race fans, to PitStop TV. Trey Patton joins me on the mic this evening, Corey Rexford on our social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is PitStop TV's live coverage of the BRP iRacing series. Thank you, of course, for tuning in across our multiple platforms this evening. Plenty of places to watch from, be it Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. We're in the virtual Sarver, Pennsylvania, for a 2-week run to, Lernerville Speedway this evening and Williams Grove in 1 week's time. USA treated some and hurt others, but the storyline to follow to the championship and take to the bank is the overwhelming consistency emerging from our midfield drivers that are quickly becoming championship threats for Kevin Habert, AJ Albretta, Cody Higbee, and Ryan Beagle. Man, those three names taking the forefront of our minds for round 8 at Lernerville. The consistency out of simply AJ Albretta, I think, Trey Patton, is something to note. But then you also have guys, again, like Cody Higbee and Ryan Beagle that are getting up there and mixing things up. The odd thing is that we're not even talking about previous champion Travis Miller. He's not even in the conversation right now. He's a little ways down our point standings, and in fact, we could bring those point standings up and take a look down them. This is what we're looking at. Travis Miller, he's sure, top 5, but he's really not even in the conversation for the championship. Kevin Habert has led the points all the way into the last couple of weeks. In fact, I think last week, exiting USA, you see the big deficit after Kevin Habert finished at the back of the pack. Cody Higbee now up on top with a 97C, and this is troubling times for the 71 camp. AJ Albretta clear of him with an extra win. Cody Higbee, our points leader now with no wins on the season yet. It's incredible what these three have come on recently to do. Again, Cody Higbee, AJ Albretta, and Ryan Beagle.
Yeah, I mean, just looking through the rest of the field, you see Thomas Richard, 2 wins on the season. He's been, actually, last week, he actually did fairly well. He had some pretty good speed. Then just below him in 7th, you see Maxime Plant, currently top of the board in practice right now. He's always a threat when we come here. Ryan Susi been doing really good. Michael Hackett did fairly okay last week. And then Joe Matthews, we don't really talk of him very much. You see him kind of mid-pack, but he's hanging on to the back end of the top 10. So, I mean, really, any of these guys in the top 10 in points right now are really a threat. But as you said, AJ Alberta, he's definitely on a tear after winning last week. I mean, we're looking now, I mean, he's like 6th in practice right now, but I think as things pick up and we start getting into heats, I think he's going to be another threat for tonight.
Yeah, of course, running through our heat race format here in just a little while, but these are the guys to watch, the top 4 in the standings. I mean, you have to go another 17 points back from Ryan Beagle to get to Travis Miller, and I think that really is the separation in the championship. That said, Travis Miller, Thomas Richard, Maxime Plant, especially those two with 2 wins apiece, they're not out of this. Even Ryan Susi isn't too far out of this yet, but it's going to take wins the entire way home and really bad runs for the guys up ahead, namely Cody Higbee, who puts an extra 13 points on everybody coming in here with the points lead. Again, with no wins over a driver with 2 wins in AJ Alberta and a driver with 1 win in Kevin Habert. And then, of course, the 2 wins apiece for the 3T and 79 drivers. Trey, it's a very interesting week coming to Lernerville, as always. Again, no walls around this place, and I mean, that's what this place is known for, is the fact that if you push things a little bit too far, suddenly you are hopping that kind of berm, kind of cushion up on the top side. But what it does allow these drivers to do is get up there and put the right rear tire directly on that cushion and actually be able to use the cushion a bit more than some other racetracks.
Yeah, I mean, you see a lot of these drivers trying to do that. You saw Gavin Easel, he went up and kind of went over a little bit there. But riding the berm here is honestly one of the key points here, because that's where you get a lot of your speed. You're seeing just how bumpy this track is, seeing the shocks of these race cars just going all over the place. So definitely a lot of speed to be gained up there. I mean, you see some guys are riding around on it, some of them are off of it. That's a really good shot right there into 3 and 4. I mean, just, you don't want to overdo it. Get into the wall a little bit. I mean, it's not going to hurt you that much, but down the straightaway, that'll help you. Obviously, you don't have a wall to help you keep the car straight in the corners.
Yeah, you don't have that wall to lean on as kind of a safety net, and now with the tires kind of sticking out on these big block mods, that can actually catch you out and cause you more problems than just putting the right rear in the fence. But that wall is definitely something nice to lean on all other racetracks, just about. I mean, Lernerville is not the only track with no walls, but it is the most notable track with no walls here on iRacing.com. So this is truly a test for these drivers, a test of control, I think, to be able to go up there, run the top side, but not go too far over that line. You can see the racetrack slicking off. In fact, I think both grooves really worked in already. There's slick down low, there's slick up high. They're just trying to find some grip right now on the racetrack. I think there's a little bit of moisture left down low, but everything relatively dried out. That's a great shot of it there into turn 3. Most of the racetrack dried out, at least where you're going to be racing on it. Oh, an incident here for Dan Sider. And is that the 13 car? I've got to remind myself, Rick Rogalski, we haven't seen him in a few weeks. But good to see him out here. Maxime Plant also involved in that little practice incident. This is still in practice. 2 minutes left thereof. And Trey Patton, you kind of started talking about some of the fast laps so far. Maxime Plant leading our session. Kevin Habert second place. Ryan Beagle in third. Then Michael Hackett, Corby Daniels, Joe Matthews, AJ Alberta, Brett Haas, Ryan Susi, Brian Berger are top 10 so far this evening.
You know, looking up there, Corby Daniels, fifth fastest right now. I mean, that's really good. You know, Corby's been kind of, looks like he's been kind of straggling on speed as of late, but, you know, last week he showed a little bit of promise, and, you know, unfortunately he just kind of got caught up in some incidents, and that's just really been the rut of his luck, really just kind of caught up in some incidents that he couldn't really do anything. So I think if he can take the speed he's showing right now in practice, get a good qualifying lap, and then finish well in his heat, he might be able to actually get a fairly good starting spot in the feature and be able to stay up front and maybe get a top 5 tonight.
That's absolutely correct. He's looking pretty sporty this evening. 5th place, and let's see, only a 10th off, it looks like, of, only about a 10th off of our practice leader, Maxime Plant. So the 88 car dialed in this evening is what you want to see from Corby Daniels, somebody who's struggled a lot since making the move over to the big block mods. Of course, the big block, something everybody in the series wanted, but, oh wow, Joe Matthews really sending it there over the berm, and that's what can happen. Granted, that's not exactly what's going to happen, but if you go back to Season 1, race number 2 with these guys, at least Season 1 that we covered with the 360 sprint cars last season, we did see some of that. It is very easy to get a little bit of contact, especially with these bigger cars where contact is a bit more imminent, we're going to see some cars go over the berm tonight and go for a ride down the hillsides. That is going to happen.
That right there down the back straightaway, they were as we were watching Ryan Sousa, you saw he's right on the edge of that berm down the back straightaway. I mean, I was looking from a different view there. I mean, he had both his right side tires like literally on the edge. Like if he was over, I think even half an inch, he was going to go off.
Yeah, you got to get up there and you've got to ride that berm, cushion, whatever you want to call it. You've got to ride the top of the racetrack, basically, if you want to go fastest. That said, there is speed to be found on the bottom side, especially here in qualifying. We are resetting the racetrack a bit, treating it, if you will, and we're sending cars back out there. You can see the track much more moist. It's been torn up a little bit. We've got some room for these guys to race and to set down fast lap times. So, getting onto the racetrack, just about everybody. Here's AJ Alberetta changing colors up on us. He used to be the grayscale 22, now he's the blue 22, and he's starting his flying lap into turn 1.
See him going into turn 1 and 2, kind of running the top side, not way up there. You're going to see him go up all the way to the top, going out the back into 3 and 4, riding that cushion. He's going to come out of turn 4, still riding it. And there's his first lap, or going to the time of his first lap. And that's going to put him second right now. Kevin Hebert to the top. Thomas Richard to the top now.
And here is the 3T, scored as the 300. Thomas Richard, one of those Frenchies. And he's always quick, it feels like, just isn't always able to make the most of his speed. But right now, on pole by 2 1/1000ths of a second. Now, of course, we will seat these guys into some heat races based on how many entries we have. We're looking at 25, so we'll probably see 3 heat races, 1 of 8, 2 of 7, if my math... No, we will see 2 of 9, 1 of 8. There we go. So 3 heat races. We'll take a total of 26 cars. We don't have to worry about it this evening. Everybody will move on to the feature race unless we get 2 or more late qualifying registrants. But right now, 25 cars, those ranging from Thomas Richard on pole to Corey Howe sitting caboose in 25th here in qualifying. A few more cars left on the racetrack. Matt DeRitter basically the only other one aside from Thomas Richard, actually. These guys just turning some extra laps. And this is something that's getting more and more common, especially here in the BRP iRacing series, to see a couple of these guys keep running through qualifying to get extra laps on the racetrack. And that said, there goes Matt DeRitter off and away.
You can tell how much the track has actually changed from practice to qualifying, just from when Thomas Richard, logged his fast lap in practice. He ran a 15.765 in practice, and he qualified with a 15.130. I mean, the track changed so much. He got 0.6 just from practice to qualifying.
Yeah, and of course we might have had any number of drivers out there start things out and run some laps in, but it's also really tough when you have other cars around, and I think that's what held these guys back at the start of practice, because of course they started out with a pretty fresh racetrack and just turned so many laps that it got rubbered up. Now you're on a fresh racetrack again. This is a great look at some of the moisture in the dirt, and Thomas Richard working on run on that top side. This is what's great to see, the fact that he's qualified on pole right now, Trey Patton, and that's why he needs to go out there and run some more practice, because even he can hop that berm and can have some trouble here at Lernerville. So that's really good to see that even the guy who's fastest right now out of the entire field is admitting that he needs a bit more practice and trying to get some more qualifying. Wrapping up, we'll go straight into heat race number 1 as per usual, and Thomas Richard, our fastest qualifier, will start from the pole position. Ryan Sousa will join him on row number 1. Starting from 3rd place, though, is Michael Hackett in the 84H, with Brian Berger starting 4th. The back 5 of our first heat on the evening, Dean Meitzler, we wish him the best. We heard he was having a medical issue just this weekend, and we hope that he's doing a whole lot better. Clearly is. He's in the field tonight. Tyler Pachalski, they're in 6th place. He'll roll off on the outside of row number 3. The back 3 of the field, the big show, Randy Giroux with Gavin Eisel to his outside. And starting off from 9th position, caboose on the first heat is Corey Howe. I think I misspoke and said 2 of 9, 1 of 8. No, it's going to be 1 of 9, 2 of 8. We'll have 25 cars vying for, 26 positions. So again, everybody good. This is all just a matter of bettering your starting position. And of course, you do want to start towards the front, Trey Patton, because if you are anywhere from the middle towards the back, trouble can strike at any point in time.
Yeah, we saw how trouble definitely struck last week at USA. As we said, USA was a beast of its own self Then you come to a track like Lernerville. I mean, this track is nothing like USA, nothing like, Eldora, Volusia. I mean, in some aspects, it's kind of similar, but I mean, then you got to rely on the aspects. There's no walls here. These guys are going to have different approaches of how they want to run the top side, how they want to run the bottom. So, versus last week, these guys were running on the inside wall. You can't do that here.
No, you can't. You get down there and hit those tires, those K barriers, and you're having a bad day. We've got 8 laps on the docket for heat number 1 and the rest of the heats this evening, and we're about to light them up and let them go racing. Out of turn number 4, we are green flag for heat 1, and already bit of contact up front. Thomas Richard goes down to the bottom side and slides right up in front of Susie. A big run for the 38. He goes right down to the bottom side. Do we see a slide job lap 1? We do! It's a slider and a crossover to match.
Side by side of the line, looks like Susie. No, Thomas Richards going to edge him out at the line just by a couple thousandths of a second there. He's going to go back, but Ryan Susie's not done. He's going to come back on the bottom side. He's going to try and pull it again. Almost looks like some slight contact there. Susie's going to keep the lead there. They cross the stripe for lap number 3.
This will be the story of the evening with a fresh racetrack. Susie now gripping the top side. Great run out there. Completely clears the 3T and is going to set sail with the lead. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd and 4th. Traditionally, the cut line is 4th place. Michael Hackett owns that spot for now, battling with Brian Berger for 3rd. Tyler Pachalski would traditionally be the first one out, but again, we're sending everybody straight to the feature race. I do believe, I don't think we'll even need consies, so these races will set our lineup.
Saw Berger there was battling for 3rd there for a second, and then he kind of got checked up in the middle of that, lost a couple spots. Now he's trying to keep that 5th spot from a charging Gavin Eisel.
Brian Berger almost up and over that hill there on the backstretch. Thankfully keeps it down to the racetrack. Gavin Eisel now hard on the back end of the number 60 car. This is the battle for 5th place, and you see further back, Randy Giroux, Dean Meitzler, Corey Howe a bit off the pace rather, and here is the number 23 car, scored as the 23, pictured as the 33 this evening. Gavin Eisel still on the back end of Brian Berger. Looks like maybe a problem for Randy Giroux. Gonna leave him a couple of seconds back of this field. We're already coming up to our white flag here in heat number 1.
White flag up and in the air. You see the battle. Thomas Richard not going to let Ryan Susie get away with this one. He's not going to let him take it away. Here we go down to the back stretch for the final time. Will he go for the slider?
He tries to throw another slider, but it's just not enough because Ryan Susie uses the top side to his advantage and grabs the win in heat number 1. The rest of the field is Richard, Hackett, Pachalski, Berger, Eisel, Meitzler, Giroux, and Corey Howe, rounding out all 9 cars in the first of 3 heats. And we get ready then for heat number 2. Going to be led to the green by none other than Kevin Habert. I dare say the favorite for the championship coming into the last couple of weeks, but suddenly put on his heels. Cody Higbee, new points leader on his outside for the start of this heat. Rolling off 3rd place this evening for heat number 2 is going to be AJ Alberta, last week's winner, with Adam Hilton to his outside. The inside of row number 3 is the 03 of Matt DeRitter with Brandon Gruhl, starting from 6th place in heat number 2. In the back row of this one going to be David DiPietro and Rick Rogalski. Good to see the 13 car back in our lineup.
Yeah, I haven't really seen much of Rogalski here in recent weeks. Glad to see him back on the racetrack. It's always nice to have a lot of these guys out here. It's always nice to see a lot of these guys, the series as a whole. You don't like to see people go home, but it always gives these guys something to fight for. But as we said last week, it's always a good thing for everyone to make the field because a lot of these guys that don't get to capitalize on points are able to do so.
Absolutely, and I feel like that's reflected even in real racing, which a lot of these drivers know all too well, that sometimes if you're guaranteed to make a show, you're going to draw some entries that might not usually make the cut. But once it goes over that limit to where you can't start everybody in the same feature, well, you might get some that maybe don't show up to the racetrack anymore just because they don't want to show up all for naught. So it's good to have that guarantee that these guys can rely on, and it's definitely helping things. And you know what? It helps to have Corey Howe making the feature when he's still out here learning and making his first few starts in the series. That's always good to see. Kevin Habert going to lead us to the second green flag on the evening. He's going to bring us up out of turn number 4. We are green then for heat number 2, off and away to turn 1.
Like we saw last week, Higbee gonna rip the top side. Actually gets shuffled up the track. Alberta throws him off the track.
Thankfully, gets back on, but yes, problems there for Cody Higbee. Goes completely off the racetrack, gets back on without too much issue, keeps racing here in heat number 2. Alberta all over Adam Hilton now. This, the battle for second and third on the back stretch. Matt DeRitter on the right side of your screen, he's fourth. And now on the right side of your screen will be Kevin Habert, the race leader, the 71 car. Changing that paint up recently, boy, does it pop.
Yeah, they were almost 3 wide back there, but yeah, that paint does pop. You definitely cannot miss that at all. Adam Hilton, though, I mean, he's putting the pressure onto Habert right now. I mean, he's not letting him drive away with this. And honestly, if Habert slips up, he might be able to steal a win here.
Yeah, Adam Hilton very well could join Ryan Susie there on the front row for this one. All he has to do is get up there and start racing the 71 car, and the track is going to open up, I think, to some of the bottom side moves again. In fact, there we see one. Matt DeRitter right to the bottom side as I say it, puts a big slider on AJ Alberta. Do we see a crossover? No, not quite. Alberta, ooh, a bit of a stumble. He's over. He has lost it. He has gone over the ridge here at Lernerville, and he's going to go all the way to the back of heat number 2. Rick Rogalski, actually, somewhere back there. He'll catch up here soon enough. Here is a heat race leader, Kevin Habert, leading the way at lap 7.
Hey, you talk about, you know, how those guys in qualifying were taking those extra laps. They don't want to make mistakes. That right there, what we saw from Alberta, he was actually two-wheeling the entire front stretch. That's why DeRitter was able to get around him there, and unfortunately, he just wasn't able to capitalize and get a hold of that car. But as you see, out of turn number 4 for the final time, white flag in the air. Habert going to lead us into turn number 1.
Adam Hilton a little too far back, I think, to make a move in 3 and 4, but does he go for it anyways? No, he's going to sit right up on the top side in turns 3 and 4, except the second place finish here in heat number 2, and Kevin Habert walks away with that heat win. Second place is going to be Hilton, third DeRitter, fourth goes to Gruel at the line. Higbee comes up short in 5th, and DiPietro, Alberta, and Rogalski round out heat number 2's results. And we'll re-rack them, restack them with a whole new field for heat number 3. And they'll line up like the following. Maxime Plant, the gentleman, going to roll off from first place. Dan Sider second. Rolling off from third, that's Joe Matthews in the number 1. Corby Daniels, great practice speed, a little bit further back in qualifying. This would be a 12th place qualifying effort for him. Going to roll off from 4th in heat number 3. Starting 5th, though, going to be Ryan Beagle. Oh, so consistent lately with the reigning champion, Travis Miller. He's got to step up his game, though, if he wants to defend. Starting 7th place this evening, Double H, Hunter Holberg, alongside of Double 5, Brett Haas.
Yeah, looking here, I mean, the lineup in Heat 3 is actually pretty stacked here. You know, you got Maxime Plant, you got Ryan Beagle, Travis Miller, Brett Haas starting at the tail end of Heat number 3. So I expect to see him try and charge up through the field, but I mean, it's not going to be easy for him.
No, it won't. It's never easy to go through any of these drivers. I mean, we do have some great competition here in the BRP iRacing series. Love to see it. But it really does shake up the standings and create some unfortunate instances where you get guys that maybe just didn't quite prepare for a racetrack. Maybe they had something going on in the week, I don't know, a lunch with grandma, and they didn't get the chance to turn those extra 20 or so laps. That could be all the difference. That just could be what it comes down to. And unfortunately, it results in some guys like Kevin Habert last week getting left in the dust at USA International Speedway and losing his points lead by quite a lot. I think he finished 24th or so, while Alberta went up there and won the race, and Higbee, I think, was second place. So you've got to be on it here in the BRP iRacing series. You cannot be caught slacking, or you will lose your points lead if you're Kevin Habert and the 71 team. Coming to the third green flag on the evening, it's heat number 3 coming to you like this. Here we go, green flag, and Maxime Plant takes it away.
Going into turn number 1, you see Dan Sider trying to use the outside line. There's going to go to the middle, almost 3 wide there. Contact. Matthews going to keep it straight. There we are, coming out of turn number 4. Plant still holding the top.
Oh, big contact. Daniels with some company. Miller and Sider get into it. They sort things out. We keep racing here, but oh, what could have been. And oh, Haas up and over. He's on the outside. Sider now. He loses it hard into that outside wall that is some 20 feet or so back from the racetrack. Maxime Plant goes purple there. Travis Miller leading a hungry pack of Beagles through turns 1 and 2. I hope you see what I did there because Ryan Beagle's behind. And oh, Haas with more problems.
Haas, I'm not quite sure what's going on. Whoa, Matthews stopped and around again. Corby Daniels with the hot time right now. currently sitting in second. I mean, Maxime Plant's got a reasonable gap right now, pretty comfortable. Man, Corey Daniels ripping sometimes right now.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened a couple of laps ago, but you see this gaggle now in turns 3 and 4, and past our speed shot to turns 1 and 2. Haas down to the bottom side, Matthews in the bottom, Hulberg ripping the top side again, and boy, these guys had a lot of contact, a lot of problems not so long ago. They're starting to sort it out, this battle for 5th place now, as Ryan Beagle got clear of it. He's actually trying to run down the 22 car. This would be for 3rd in heat number 3, but Maxime Plant, I mean, this guy is just always oh so quick. He doesn't seem to have a racetrack where he just isn't quite feeling it. The 79 always seems to be a guy that we end up talking about.
Yeah, he's just really comes prepared. I mean, I don't think I've seen a race this season to where he hasn't been in the picture at all. I mean, and here it is right now, coming to the white flag here in heat number 1. I mean, he's just checked out.
He has checked out by over a second, which it might not sound like a lot, but in a heat race of just 8 laps with 8 cars, that does add up quite quickly. Now, still growing on that lead, and out of turn 4, Plant's going to win heat 3. Daniels second, then Miller, Beagle, Matthews battling with Brett Haas, but he is going to get that 5th spot. Brett Haas 6th, then Sider and Hulberg with an early retirement here from heat number 3. And those races will go directly into setting up our feature race this evening. And as soon as the session rolls over, we will bring you that lineup. It looks like it's taking an extra second. Usually we're straight into the... There we go. As I say it, we get right into our race session. Here is the lineup for Lernerville Speedway. On pole, Heat 1 winner Ryan Susie, Kevin Habert, last week's point leader, but no longer after finishing in the back at USA. He will roll off second place. After winning Heat number 3, though, look at the 79. Maxime Plant, the gentleman, rolling off in 3rd. Thomas Richard, the 3T. He's got speed this evening. He'll start from the 4th position. Starting 5th on the inside of row number 3, Adam Hilton. A great starting position, matching his practice position. It's Corby Daniels, the Beef, starting from 6th. Rolling off 7th place, though, the 84H of Michael Hackett, and Matt DeRitter to his outside in 8th. Starting from 9th, it's Travis Miller, with Tyler Pachalski in 10th.
11th, we have Brandon Gruhl. Ryan Beagle starting 12th. 13th, we have Brian Berger into his outside, the 97, Cody Higbee. 15th, we have Joe Matthews into his outside. We have Gavin Eisel. 17th, we have David DiPietro and Brett Haas starting 18th. And rounding out our final row of the top 20, we have Dean Meitzler in 19th. And last week's winner, AJ Albretta, starting 20th.
Lernerville's back 5 cars going to be Dan Sider in the 84. The Big Show, Randy Giroux starting 22nd. Starting 23rd, Rick Rogalski making his first start in some time. Hunter Hulberg, Double H, will roll off 24th. And 25th going to be Corey Howe. And we're glad to see him still out here and taking some time to learn these race cars, learn these racetracks. It seems he's one of the newer drivers, these big blocks, and the BRP iRacing series. And boy, when you're starting out and you're struggling, you're just trying to learn, you need all the shout-outs you can get, and a big shout-out goes to anybody who can stick through it and just sit there and try to learn the best you can. You're not going to go out there and light the world up immediately. You're going to take a little bit of time, so I just like to give shout-outs to those kinds of guys that put the effort forth just like anybody else and want to learn and want to go fast, because at the end of the day, we all want to turn left and go fast while doing it. 40 laps on the docket for these 25 drivers, and Ryan Susie going to lead us to the green for it all. Up out of turn number 4 for the final time before feature racing. Here we go. Green flag at Lernerville.
Susie on the bottom, Habert on the top. Here we go. Susie rides the top side. You're going to see Maxime Plant go to the bottom. Will he pull a slider? Is he going to clear him? No, he's not going to do it. Susie going to take lap 1. Actually, Plant takes it just by barely.
Almost 4 wide. Plant now motors up off the bottom. Habert working the top side. Susie down low now. You see Hilton down there as well. Richard working the top side. They race by the grandstands and off into turn number 1 for lap number 3. And this is a very split racetrack right now. Bottom, middle, top, all working. Here's Corby Daniels on the top side of Susie. He's going for 4th early in this one.
Yeah, the top side really showing relevance right now. They're ripping the top. You see Habert actually got a little bit sideways there. Corby Daniels' hot time right there. I mean, he's doing really well for himself, showing a lot of speed tonight. And, I mean, there's still a lot of race to go.
Tons of racing left in this one. Now through, it looks like, lap 4 of 40. So a tenth of the way through already, but still got to go 90% of the distance here. Here's Corby Daniels all over Thomas Richard. They get so... Oh, there he goes! Thomas Richard, as I'm talking about him, getting so close to that limit, goes right over the limit, and that may bring out the first caution of the evening. It does. Caution flag is out.
Very unfortunate for Thomas Richard. I mean, we saw he had very promising speed and honestly one of the more consistent guys we see in the field, and unfortunately just a little incident like that just sends him into the outside wall. We're going to see what happened to him.
Oh, it's pretty simple what happened to him here. He just gets over the limit. There was one other car slow. I don't know if it was related at all. I don't think it would have been there, but there could have been 2 incidents here. We'll try and watch for it, but here you'll see, of course, the 3T scored as the 300. Thomas Richard pounds that concrete wall. Not as hard as I thought, but still a bit of a good hit right there. And then the other car that was slow was actually Ryan Beagle, and this is intriguing. I want to make sure he's okay in all of this, and he is. But on our timing and scoring, I guess he just wasn't being scored correctly because it showed him slow, and thought he might have had a problem. It does look like Corey Howe has had a problem and is already behind the wall. But unfortunately, yeah, a bit of a rough start there for Corey Howe. Everybody else gets through the first few laps rather cleanly.
I mean, like you said before, I mean, props to Corey Howe for coming out here. I mean, we saw he's off pace, but I mean, he's learning, and honestly, there's not a better opportunity to learn.
No, you've got to be thrown to the wolves in order to pick some of this stuff up. And he's certainly done a great job as of late, just going out there, making laps, making sure he makes the show. And I mean, you still have to make sure you get through, practice, qualifying, and the heats relatively cleanly. Otherwise, you're just going to have problems. I mean, you've got to run those laps. You're not going to know what you're doing come feature time. So he's done a good job of just getting laps in that 23 car. Very proud of him going out there and turning those laps to make it into the feature. Coming to lap 7 of 40, Maxime Plant on point, and he lights things up quick. Very early start there from the 79, and we're already racing into turn 1.
It's going to allow him to pick whatever lane he wants here, but he better choose it quick. Kevin Hebert trying to charge on the outside line. Caution's out.
And I saw the yellow lights immediately come back on. I actually turned them off on the ticker because I thought that was an error, but it looks like that was rather correct. So we'll take a look back at things and try to find out what happens. It's going to be really, really hard to say, but we'll take our best guess. This is looking at the back end of the field, and we'll try and learn something from this. And I see nobody slow, so my question is, did Corey Howe enter the racetrack, maybe even Thomas Richard? You know what? It might have been Corey Howe trying to rejoin the racing field. Let's take one more look. You'll see the 23 car out of Canada starting to edge up to the racetrack here. You can hear the engine start to spur up, and yeah, I think that's going to be I think this will be the cause of our caution, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it just, the green flag came out, and then iRacing registered, there was a slow car with cars coming up to speed, just one of those iRacing things. I mean, unfortunately, I give him props for trying to rejoin the field, but, it's just one of those things that he should have waited just a little bit longer, but, I applaud the effort.
Well, it's tough to do so. It's really tough to rejoin the field on iRacing on a dirt track. It's the pits, I mean, just like pits at a normal racetrack might be, they're not optimized to be used during a race session. Usually, if you go into the pit lane, you've got severe damage, and some race series might extend the yellow flag to get them back out into the race, so they give them a certain time under caution, and they don't let you rejoin coming right to the green. And unfortunately, iRacing, of course, it's ones and zeros, doesn't really go through that process, and sometimes you do get that happening. Otherwise, green flag once again, coming to lap number 8, and we are off and away. Maxime Plant, Kevin Hebert battling for the race lead, and Corby Daniels barely hangs on to it.
3 wide coming out of turn number 2. I thought Corby was going to go off, so excellent wheel work from him there. But you see up top, Maxime Plant able to hold the lead. Hebert able to hold on to second, but man, Susie trying to work the bottom, and Corby Daniels, they're going to be side by side coming out of 2, entering 3.
This is the battle for third place. Susie on the bottom. You got Beagle back there as well on the bottom side, and Higbee and some more. They fly by the flag stand, and man, these guys are digging here this evening, aren't they? Susie really digging the bottom side as well. He goes up to the middle on exit and then gets all the way up there. Oh, Corby Daniels off!
Oh, man. I mean, that's what we saw. We were talking about trying to get way up to the top side, you know, a little aggressive. Actually, Alberta right there kind of caught the wall down the front stretch. We saw him do that in the heat. Was too willing it, able to keep it going. But up front, the battle for the lead is heating up.
Kevin Habert all over Maxime Plant. This, of course, the battle for the race lead. Habert's going to take the top side while Plant runs a bit lower. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. This is going to give Habert a great run. He does take it as a caution flies. He's not going to get the opportunity to go for it. And Rogalski's the slowest. Yep, it looks like it's going to be Rogalski slow on the racetrack. And we'll, of course, take a look back at what happens here to the driver of the 13. Oh, boy.
You're looking here.
Just over rotates.
Oh, yeah, just spun it out right there and clipped the inside wall. But, yeah, right there, slowed down. The leader's coming up.
Oh,
yep,
that's not going to help your case either.
Man, if I was the leaders right there, you know, especially Hebert right there, you know, going for the lead on a pass like that, it's not what you want to see at all.
So we take another caution break here at lap 12 of 40. And initially, off that race start, we got some laps in. Things got rolling kind of smoothly. Then we had the problem with Thomas Richard. Then we had the problem on the restart with Corey Howe. Now the problem with Rick Rogalski. I think we're due for some more green flag racing. It's been a good start to the evening, though, I'd say. Got great racing in the heats. And, well, great battles in those heats, and especially that third heat, man, that was wild. We come to the feature race, some more great battles as well, but a bit of a slower start, I will say. Granted, we are on to lap 12. We'll be coming to lap 13 this time by the top 5, going to be the following. We've got Plant in first, and then Habert in second, Susie third, Hilton fourth, and Beagle fifth. Our points leader sixth place. There we go. Try saying that 5 times fast. Sixth place. Coming for the restart, it's Cody Higbee on the outside of row number 3. We go back green flag racing, and Plant off and away quickly.
He's able to utilize these starts to his advantage really there, but man, we say that, and Habert with an excellent run, he's going to go for the lead.
And he's going to, no, he's not going to grab it. Didn't quite clear the front end of the 79 car. Very crucial because that's going to pin him back behind Susie into 1. But he does work the top side. He gets a big run on Susie. They're side by side for 3. Susie's still working the bottom side, a bottom feeder 38 car. And he's just going to be a little bit slower, it looks like, up out of the corner. Habert's going to take that spot back away. The battle for 4th as well has settled out as Hilton starts to walk away. Beagle on the inside of Higbee there for 6th, and everybody's just trying to find some kind of grip. The top side is worked in really well. It's really rubbered up. The bottom side's drying out. It's so hard to find good dirt here at Lernerville.
Yeah, I mean, you see Susie's kind of brought a little bit of a posse down with him. He had about 5 or 6 cars further on back trying to run the bottom with him. So you see there's another 2 cars. You got Ryan Beagle behind him there and on board with Higbee right now, kind of running the middle. Trying to see here. Now you're going to see him get right down to that inside line, try to touch the grass a little bit. But, yeah, that top side's definitely just in a lot more than that bottom right now.
And this on board with Eisel for 8th place. Now slips into 9th place as Alberetta's working the top side around him. And, oh, boy, here's a big angle of cars. We got Thomas Richard in there, Matt DeRitter, and Eisel saves it. Great save there from Gavin Eisel. Alberta working the top side in front of Richard, Matthews, and Berger down low as well. And in this, everybody battling in around the 10th position. In fact, Berger is 10th spot. Matthews now in 11th and Eisel in 12th. And they're working the bottom side. That slow train around the bottom, you've really got to woe these cars up. And Alberta going for the move on DeRitter. Does he get it? Not at the line. Halfway.
Ooh. Cross flags out here at Lernerville. Maxime Plant still on top right now. Adam Hilton finds himself into 3rd, but man, AJ Alberta making his way up here. You see Adam Hilton under fire from Susie right now. Susie's still trying to use the bottom, just not making it work. He's almost getting it, but I'd be surprised if he wouldn't. I wouldn't be surprised rather if he starts running the top there, and there you see it coming out of 4.
Yeah, everybody going up top now, aside from Cody Higbee. Cody Higbee is still faithful to that bottom side since making the switch behind a couple of Ryans, but it's not working out for him here. What is working out for Ryan Susie, though, is working the top side right behind Adam Hilton. Boy, that 38's looking pretty quick now that he's hooked up on the top side, right behind the 3-car into one. Now he's going to go for the slide job. No, actually, he just tried to go down to the bottom side to run something different. Of course, you can't pass somebody doing the same thing they are.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was just one of those things, you know, you tried something and the other person was trying it too, so he's trying to rethink some strategy here. Hopefully, they can try and work it out there. They're going to be side by side there. That's going to allow Ryan Beagle to catch back up, and there, further on back, you see Thomas Richard, AJ Alberta, Matt DeRitter also up in the mix here.
Watch it from our drone up above the speedway. Alberta working the top side now behind DeRitter. Here comes Richard on the bottom side. Hilton, I almost said Hilton, he's in third. That is the 3T of Thomas Richard, who usually is one to talk about, but lately has kind of fizzled out. And Alberta has stolen the show, but even Alberta's back here for the 8th position. Susie now battling again with Adam Hilton. He will not let this 3rd place go. We're encroaching on 10 laps to go. What a great run so far. I'll knock on wood real quick to hope it doesn't end.
Yeah, the battle for 3rd is just... This is the battle right now. I mean, really looks like the closest battle on track other than DeRitter and Alberta right now, which you see right behind them. I mean, these guys are just going, and that right there, ooh, I thought that was going to hurt Susie a little more than it did, but looking there, he's still got that thing ripping.
Well, this battle was Ryan Beagle and Cody Higbee that was right behind him, but since then, Higbee's starting to work up ahead. Now DeRitter has a mirror. Well, if they are running mirrors, a mirror full again, and oh, caution flag going to come out. Corby Daniels looks like might be the source of this one, lap 29.
We're going to take a look and see what brought out the caution to see if it indeed was Corby Daniels. Basing off of him being in the pits, that's a good assumption. Here we are coming out of turn number 2. You see Corby just all kind of by himself, so I'm curious if he kind of just overruns turn 3. Yep, that's exactly what he does, and just plows right into the outside wall.
And there's one car waiting in the pit lane there. I think that might be, it is Corey Howe that was waiting to rejoin the racing surface. And yeah, Corby Daniels had fallen to the back end of the field and then just makes one mistake. And unfortunately, that, well, brings the yellow flag back out on the speedway and halts our progress here just shy of lap number 30. As usual, massive thank yous and props go out to Bicknell Racing Products, of course, the namesake of the BRP iRacing series, Rival Powder Coatings and Sandblasting, Matt Ritter Designs, Butt Kicker, Jam Performance, and Miller's Auto Detailing, putting their hard work behind the BRP iRacing series. Amazing partners here for the series, and certainly, I think great stuff on the way for the BRP iRacing series. So glad that we got dirt back late last year in the form of this series. They were running 360 sprint cars at the time. Then we brought the big block mods out for some fun this season. It's now race 8 of 12. I've said 14 a couple of times. I don't know where I got that number, but it is a 12-race season, and this is race number 8 thereof. So this marks 2/3 of the way through this full 12-race season. Then we have some more fun planned after this one, and oh boy, I know a bit of what's coming up. There's great racing coming up for the BRP iRacing series, but not only in the future. Right now, we've got it. Maxime Plant on the top side gets things fired back off and away, and we're racing into turn 1, lap number 30 now. 40. Oh no, Kevin Habert!
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like Habert was running just a little bit higher there than he wanted. And
oh, Cody Higbee, Brett Haas, they're all having problems here in the mid-pack. And Gruel's around. Caution flag finally comes out for all of this mess.
Yeah, that was complete and utter chaos right there. I mean, it kind of looked like a demolition derby at first. You know, more like a pile up on the interstate. I mean, these guys just turn into a parking lot.
It looked like 77 in the rain there for a minute. Habert goes off, and there's a pileup down low. That's where all of this, all these problems happen. I mean, it's just too hard to explain at that point. You see it happening, and that's the best we can do is show you what went on this restart. We can take one more look back at it here, Trey Patton. This is an absolute mess. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, comparing that to 77 in the rain, I mean, that's a pretty fair Pretty fair assessment. I mean, I've had to do that quite a bit this week and the last coming weeks, but yeah, I mean, definitely just a huge stack up. I mean, just you saw just all these guys going for the real estate that just really wasn't there.
Richard,
One, two,
Higbee,
three,
and Matthews in there, and then
yeah,
Ritter on the bottom
4
as
or
well.
5 cars.
And they all kind of join one another. Haas comes up into Higbee. That's what really sets the second part of it off. And Eisel gets a piece. Miller gets a piece. Sider gets a piece. Gruel around. And yeah, Eisel Miller around on the top side brings out the yellow finally. Giroux even piles in a little bit. And big problems for just about everybody back there. But, oh boy, man. Big stuff back there in the back. In fact, they just had a problem under yellow, I think. Let me take a look back.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
We're just having a problem. Yeah, okay, so we...
I think they're trying to fix the order.
Yeah, De Ritter was slow on the bottom side. I just saw slow cars, and at first I saw Higbee sideways, and it started to kind of worry me that we were having problems under caution flag, but it seems like we are good to go, and we should be restarting here shortly. In fact, it might even be this time. Waiting to see the pace car momentarily. And no, next time by, but it does look like we're going single file restarts.
You know, if I'm Adam Hilton right now, that slots him into second. So we saw how he was earlier on today. That might be his chance to unseat Maxime Plant.
Oh, absolutely. This is the opportunity. That said, we are doubling up. It's going to be tough from the bottom side, but this is the best chance that Adam Hilton has had so far. We're going to have 10 laps to go at the time of the green flag. It's lap 30, coming to lap 31. Maxime Plant off and away on the top side. We're back racing here at Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. And Higbee working the bottom. Susie there with him, almost clearing. Maxime Plant was Adam Hilton. He gave it a great shot there into one, but it's not going to work out.
Yeah, an excellent power move. You see Susie and Higbee almost have some contact there out of turn number 4. But man, Adam Hilton not letting up 3 wide going into 1.
Look who's entered the party, the 22 car. AJ Albretta now in this battle for third place. He's going to take it away. Adam Hilton tried again in 1. Couldn't do anything with it. Now working the top side. Does he get a run to try it again on lap 33? No, he's going to sit back, and he sees that 22 a-coming. He's got to take that top side away and make Albretta go low.
Yeah, Albretta, I mean, really quiet all race. Kind of hung out around 10th place on back for the most of the race, but here he is. It's crunch time, and he's up into the mix.
Higbee's got company from Beagle, and ow! Adam Hilton goes right back to the bottom side as the caution flag in the back comes out, and it's the 68 car of David DiPietro. So David DiPietro in the 68, going to be the latest source of stoppage here at the Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. Eisel digging deep in the bottom side, almost collects Gruel, and that's all behind DiPietro. So imagine what he's thinking as he sees that behind him and has to look forward and try and work on Hunter Hulberg and Dan Sider there. And I think Gruel might get in deep into 3. That's exactly what happens. There was air between those cars, though, so that may have been just DiPietro over-rotating, and you see in the background the problems with Matt DeRitter, and I want to say that might have been Joe Matthews, was that in the 1 car?
No, Joe Matthews, he's actually 3 laps down. He's not even in the session right now.
Working on an ID for that that car that was with Matt DeRitter.
I believe it was Gavin Eisel.
So Gavin Eisel in the 18, but it's not coming up here on the replay, so we'll just kind of abandon that that side project and get back to the live picture here under caution flag. And Maxime Plant, of course, then still the race leader. I mean, I don't know how you beat him at this point in the race. He's been so good on all these restarts, and of course launches when he needs to for his race. I don't know how you beat the 79 car at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard, but it's not impossible. We've seen Maxime Plant get beat on restarts at the latter end of races. I mean, it's not improbable, but it's going to be difficult.
So back green flag racing, lap 34, coming to lap 35, and this time we are single file for this restart. And, oh my, Maxime Plant was way on the top side. Hilton tries again, but I think he would have had to try in 3 and 4, work himself out in 1 and 2 first. And now Brennan now all over the back end of Hilton. They are getting so close up there. They're making me think they're going to go over each and every time.
Yeah, it's getting really, really, really close.
And he does! Adam Hilton!
Oh, man. Really unfortunate for Hilton, but we stay green. He's going to try and do a safe rejoin.
Two cars locked together! Michael Hackett and Tyler Pachalski, what are you guys doing? They finally get separated. Brett Haas in there as well. That looked like two drivers very mad at one another in the midfield and sending a message to one another. Oh boy, I've not seen that.
Yeah, but up ahead, you see the gap here. 3 laps to go. Maxime Plant almost 0.8 of a second ahead of Albretta. Albretta's going to try and do anything he can to get up there. And if anything, if I'm Albretta, I'm hoping for a caution right now so I can have a shot to unseat Plant from the lead.
There you see last week's winner, the 22, Carvel Albretta. There's a battle further back, but we're going to stay with these lead bunch and see how this race ends, because we just took 2 laps to go. Trey Patton, Susie trying to maybe get to Albretta, but I think it's too little too late to get to Plant.
Yeah, white flag out here.
Oh no, Susie!
Oh no! Now the white flag is out. Do they take... Yep, white flag's out. This is official.
So Susie out of the mix. It's all down to Plant and Albretta, and it's simply way too far for Albretta to overcome. Out of turn number 4, Maxime Plant becomes a 3-time winner in the BRP iRacing Series Big Block Modified Tour, this time at Lernerville Speedway. And wow, AJ Albretta takes 2nd place. 3rd, how about the 97C? Points racing up to a 3rd place position is going to be Cody Higbee, executing when the time was right, and finally gets back up there onto the podium. He had a really rough go of things. In fact, he was involved in a caution or 2, but he comes through at the end and finishes in the bottom step of the podium, collecting bronze this evening. Great run for Cody Higbee to maintain that points lead.
I mean, even better run there. I mean, Brian Berger finishes 4th. Thomas Richard, after that incident earlier on in the race, finishes 5th. Beagle being consistent finishes 6th. I mean, a lot of pretty consistent runs out through the rest of the field here, but another one that's going to hurt in the points, Kevin Hebert, after rebounding from a 20, I think, what, you said 26th, rounds out 13th tonight.
Yeah, he had a rough go of things at USA. He had a great run going this evening, is going to come across the line somewhere deep in the field. We'll talk about that some more later on. But it's all these top 3. We'll be talking to each of them here on the far side of our post-race break. Don't go anywhere. It's PitStop TV with BRP iRacing Series coverage from Lernerville Speedway.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
We rejoin you from virtual Sarver, Pennsylvania at the Lernerville Speedway. That was a really good race we just had, Trey Patton. I think this right back in the direction we want to see these BRP iRacing Series races go. We've had a couple of rough ones, I'm not going to lie. And this was a really, really good race. A lot more green flag racing than we've grown accustomed to seeing. And oddly enough, it comes at the place with no walls, where cars can just get sent off into the woods and, well, maybe be lost forever even. But no, we had great racing this evening here at the Lernerville Speedway. Can't wait to talk to these three coming up. First thoughts. I'll actually give you the floor real quick, Trey Patton. First thoughts after this one.
Honestly, didn't really know what to expect. Going into this, track with no walls, I expected more cars, honestly, to go off. I mean, we saw quite a few go off, but I expected more. You can see right there on that front stretch shot where the wall by the flag stand just kind of juts and goes down. I was kind of expecting some more cars to hit that and maybe flip. But I only saw a couple cars two-wheeling it. The main guy I saw doing that, Albretta, but, obviously he was making that work because he finished second.
I do want to say, just looking in the Discord chat right now, there are drivers already practicing for Williams Grove, but we got to talk to these three first. Of course, race winner Maxime Plant up first. And Maxime, another big race win. This makes 3 on the season. Now coming at Lernerville, the track with no walls, and the 79, I don't think needed any walls. You looked great out there. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah, so it's really hard here because during the feature, the track was really slick, and the hot side will so really slick. So you don't have the wall, so you can wall riding. So you need to really smooth with the gas pedal.
Yeah, of course, we see each week, Maxime, that you guys battle the track changing, but we also see that it resets before qualifying each week. How does Lernerville differ from other tracks? How is it different?
The difference is the wall do a really big part because in the other track, wall riding is really important in iRacing. Wall riding is like when you go outside and the cushion is really big, and you can just stay outside with the wall, and that is the difference here, because here we don't have the wall, so we need to find where is the sweet spot on the track, and that's really hard here.
And we saw your closest competition, Kevin Habert, go off of the racetrack in turn 1 on one of those latest restarts. What was going through your mind as you saw him go flying off into the woods?
Yeah, yeah, I saw Kevin jump on turn number 1. Kevin is a really good driver, and he make a lot of pressure early race. I think he is really good to fight with me at the end of the track, at the end of the race, but he jumped the corner, so I don't know where he's finished, but I know he's really a good driver.
So Maxime, we stay in Pennsylvania next week, going to Williams Grove. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, Williams Grove, I like it because I race 2 times in real life at Williams Grove, so really exciting to go at this track.
All right, best of luck to you out there. But first off, congratulations this evening. 33 laps led. You get your 3rd win on the season. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out?
Yeah, so thank you everyone, thank you my team, and thank you for the live and the race, and it's really cool to race with the broadcast, and thank you very much.
Hey Maxime, your English is getting better week in, week out. Congratulations this evening. We'll see you next week at Williams Grove.
Yeah, thank you.
And Maxime Plant, of course, one of the French drivers in the series. We have quite a few of them, and they all work on their English. They get better week in, week out. We have AJ Albretta on the line next up, though. Trey Patton, will hand him your way.
AJ Albretta, man, you started 20th actually. You finished second. You were up to second, but man, you kind of had a little bit of a rough race. You were kind of hanging out, mid-pack, and then I saw you get into the wall a few times. You were two-wheeling the crap out of that car. Just kind of talk us through the race and just how you got up to the front.
Yeah, man, that was an interesting race. That was a lot of fun for sure. I love running with a lot of the guys through here. definitely a little bit rough at times there. A couple times thought I was going to go over, but I knew coming from that deep, in order to salvage a good points night, you had to just be on the gas at all times. I know I made some moves I probably shouldn't have made. Got into Pachalski a little bit, so I'm sorry about that one there. Got a little tight, but especially coming down the front straightaway, I got pinched into the wall a couple times and rode it actually, which probably looked cool on camera, but not in car. Definitely a lot of fun there. But running the top side like that, when you get to run on somebody, you really just can't lift it when you're going for every spot possible for points.
So talk about how tricky it is, trying to ride the berm, the cushion, whatever have you, just in these corners because, obviously there's no wall to keep you on the track. So, I mean, how hard is it from a driver's standpoint to maybe point it out to the viewers?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the toughest thing that we have to deal with week in and week out, especially at this track. You get right up top, and if you make one little mistake, you're going over. I saw Hilton do it with 2 to go, which is frustrating for him, I'm sure, because he had such a good run going. Same thing with Kevin Hebert. He had a great run going tonight, and they both just made that one little mistake, and you really can't do that here. I almost made it a couple times, too. I got in a little hot in 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 a couple times, and so definitely had to lift quite a bit and put the binders on.
I mean, fortunately for you, you were able to keep all 4 tires on the racetrack, and you were able to drive yourself to a second place. We've said it last week. We said it this week. I mean, you're a man on a mission. 2 wins on the season. You're second in points. Come up just about a second short tonight for another win. So, what can we expect going to Williams Grove next week?
Williams Grove's probably one of my worst tracks. I always struggle there for some reason. I like the track. I love running the track. It's so unique, but I just seem to struggle there for some reason. So I'm going to try my best to try to at least get a top 10. That's what I'm really shooting for next week, to just hopefully keep that second in points. Really would have loved to get the win tonight, but I was definitely content with the second. I didn't want to push it too hard after coming all that way and lose it all by going over the edge. So congrats to Maxime, and pretty awesome to have T-Berry Motorsports second and third again this week.
Yeah, definitely a good run for you guys. Consistency is key. But before we let you go, who do you have to thank?
I got to thank Rob Albreda, Snap-on Tools, JRC Transportation, Creech Tire, LaMonica's Restaurant, all my sponsors that helped me out. Man, there's too many to even name. T-Berry Development. Just got to thank everybody again and again for everything they do for me.
All right, man. Well, we're going to let you go. Congratulations on a second place finish, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
All right, that's second place finisher, AJ Albreda, and we're going to throw it back to Andrew for Cody Higbee.
And Cody Higbee comes in this evening a winless points leader. Unfortunately, going to continue the winless part. I think the points leader 2 part, though, that's pretty good for you in that 97C car. You come in again, leading the points. I don't think you're going to extend it over AJ, but you're going to hold on to probably what will be, 12 points or so, somewhere in around that. What matters is you've got yourself, and I believe your teammate now on top of the board.
Yeah, definitely. I said this earlier. If I can't win a battle, that's fine. As long as I win the war, I'm happy. But it's really cool to have T-Berry up top, 1 and 2 in points, and just got to keep the boat floating and keep our top 5 consistent finishes up.
Consistency is key. I talked about it towards the start of the show this evening. Sure, Kevin Habert's still one of the fastest drivers in here, but the inconsistency these last couple of weeks, just not quite with it. Last week at USA, goes over the ridge tonight here at Lernerville. But you somehow fight through the middle of the pack and having all those problems down the back stretch. You don't get turned up and over anything. And I don't know where you came from on that last restart, but you finished third place. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah, I got so lucky on that caution there that I got my spot back. Yeah, we just kind of went into one. A couple of people behind me just had nowhere to go, really. We checked up pretty early for the bottom, and it was such a fine line. I can't blame them. It happens all the time. But, yeah, just kept her rolling, thankfully, and never caused the caution for me. So I was able to get my spot back. And then from there, it was just hanging on and seeing what I could salvage from those guys going off the track.
Now, if we thought any of the previous races this season were tough and certainly contact heavy, we're in for a treat next week at Williams Grove. It's going to be a tough one, obviously very tight, very fast. How do you prepare for it?
Yeah, we'll do some testing this week. It's a big track, and it should be pretty fun. It's close to my home track here at New York, so hopefully we could put a good finish up and maybe get our first win.
Well, there you have it. Cody Higby going to do some testing and hopefully get that first win at Williams Grove. Who do you have to thank this evening? Who do you have to shout out tonight?
Yeah, I got to shout out everybody at T-Berry Motorsports and all the fans for watching, and everybody tune in next week.
Cody Higby. This guy might be the championship favorite after Lernerville. He is on fire. We'll be talking to him a whole lot more this season, I'm sure. Cody, have a great night.
Thank you, too.
Cody Higby in the 97C again, very, very quick lately, very, very consistent, which is most important. That said, tonight, not always consistently in the front, which is a bit of a detour on his season so far. He's been just kind of staying humble, staying kind of quiet in around 5th, and then suddenly gets up there to 2nd or 3rd. Tonight, it was more so like 10th, 12th, even 15th, and suddenly got up there for 3rd place. But hey, the result is the same. He gets up there onto the top 3. And, I mean, as long as you're talking to us at the end of the night, rather, I guess it's a pretty good night.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it doesn't matter where you were at the start. It doesn't matter where you were halfway. It's all about where you are coming to that checkered flag. And, you know, he was there at the bottom of the podium. So, going to be a good points day, as you mentioned, for him. Going to be able to not really stretch out the points lead, but he's going to maintain it.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do. Again, consistency is always key in these iRacing championships. You've got to just make sure you finish consistently towards the front and amass those points so that, well, when other people mess up, you're not left out to dry and you can capitalize on it. Of course, I want to mention that these broadcasts are always brought to you by some wonderful partners here at PitStop TV. Our first thanks goes out to Tucson Sound Art. Of course, your picture, your music. Use code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your wall-mounted sound art device today. These broadcasts are also brought to you by Race Pace. Pick up pace with Race Pace, a community-driven setup shop and driver development program. By Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. You deserve the best care that money can buy. And by Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of PitStop TV. We'll take you down the finishing order this evening here at the Lernerville Speedway. Maxime Plant checks in P1 by over a second and a third over the 0.22 of AJ Albretta. Cody Higby, another second and a half back from AJ. And then Brian Berger, how about 4th place? I think you mentioned it right when the race ended. That is huge for Brian Berger's season. He's going to pick up some spots in the points for sure. Thomas Richard checks in at 5th, getting back to where he should be in all honesty. Ryan Beagle, 6th place, kind of recovers from the evening. Michael Hackett there in one of the 384 cars. The other of the 84 cars in the top 10 anyways. He finishes 7th place, then Brett Haas in 8th. Tyler Pachalski had some contact, ends up 9th. And Hunter Holberg, how about a top 10 for Double H?
Yeah, pretty good night for Hunter Holberg. 11th, we have Gavin Eisel. 12th, we have Brandon Gruhl. 13th, Kevin Hebert after going off there right at the end. Dan Sider, 14th. Randy Giroux, 15th. Matt DeRitter, after quite a hectic night, finished 16th. Defending series champion Travis Miller, 17th. Dean Meitzler, 18th. David DiPietro, 19th. And Ryan Susi, after being up front most of the race, trying to go for that lead, rounds out our top 20.
The back 5 cars on the evening. Adam Hilton in the 3, after such a great run, goes up and over in turn 1, and unfortunately checks in at 21st position. Joe Matthews, early exit, finishes in 22nd, 11 laps down. Corbin Daniels, 13 laps down, 23rd. Rick Rogalski, 22 laps down, 24th. And Corey Howe, 24 laps down in 25th. So 25 cars made the trek out to Sarver, Pennsylvania virtually this evening. We'll see them go to Mechanicsburg in 1 week time. Trey, how do you feel about Williams Grove?
You know, Williams Grove, I'll say, is actually one of my favorite dirt tracks on the sim. I haven't had the pleasure to go there in real life. I do plan on going there with our colleague Trace Shuttlesworth. You know, he's been there, Lord, I don't know how many times. It's one of his favorite places to go. It's not a far trek for him to go, so definitely go there, watch some sprint cars in real life. But these big blocks, man, these guys are going to have a heyday next week. It's going to be fun to watch.
They absolutely are. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch in 1 week's time at the half mile in Mechanicsburg. We also want to talk about Ryan Susi, actually. We see it kind of on the replay right there up out of turn 4, right at the end of the race. Coming to the white flag, has that trouble out of turn 4. Very unfortunate for him. But that does conclude our coverage this evening of the BRP Big Block Tour. We at PitStop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. In just a few moments, I say just a few moments, in 40 minutes, we will pick up coverage of the Pacific Challenge GT3 Series at Mount Panorama Circuit, otherwise known as Bathurst. We just had a 12-hour event there on the iRacing.com service, one of the special events that gets hosted each year. A lot of those drivers well-oiled this time around to go attack the mountain down under. Tuesday will bring you the Operation E Motorsport iRacing League and their visit to the Sonoma Raceway in Napa Valley, California. Wednesday night brings us bluegrass action from Talladega Superspeedway, and Friday we stay in Illinois with LTAC, taking to the Chicagoland Speedway. They're in Joliet, Illinois, a short trip up from Madison, Illinois for those teams. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV, Trey Patton with me on the mic this evening, Corey Rexford on social media. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and we will see you next time. Have a great night.